Okay.
streaming.
Did you start?
I did.
Okay.
Hi, everybody! Oh, I just got the little notification too. I just want you all to know Katniss has started early. She is sitting there. She is. Hi, Katniss. She's very excited about this KP Live tonight.
We need to include her honestly as a co-host at this point.
I think, yeah. I mean,
She
we're
has
paying
some
her,
really
so.
insightful questions.
She
feel.
really does. She's a little shy, so I always have to ask them, but they're really great questions. Very informative. Yeah. Very informative. We have some announcements, some happy and some sad. So I want to start with, here's what I want to do. I want to announce your show, Sam. Then I'm going to announce our sad one. Then we're going to go in the virtual series and then to our guests.
Okay, great. Sounds good.
So tell us about what you're doing, Sam.
Well, once again, this is going to be the last time I announce it because by next week it will have already happened. But I am in Boxcar Theatrical's virtual production of Guys and Dolls concert version that will be this coming Saturday at 6 o'clock, and she will be putting a link to the free tickets in the chat. So if you want to get tickets, make sure you get them soon, but they are free. This is going to be the inaugural musical of Boxcar Theatricals, so we would love if you made a donation to support local theater. It's a new theater that just started during the pandemic, so they would really, really appreciate any donations. And did I mention it's free?
It is free. And hi to Jody Gianfala. She says, hi, Sams.
Hi.
I like it when we're the plural. I've just put the tick in and I just want, or the link in, and I just want to say too, like it is so, we know this time, some people may, it's a trying time for everyone. So no pressure, no stress, but if you have it within your means, it is really appreciative. Theaters really appreciate it. We're trying to stay alive and going during this pandemic, and we want to be able to come back because theater is so important, as you hear from us every single week. So I know Boxcar would really appreciate it as they're starting off their theater, which is so cool. And I'm excited to see how they're doing this with the Guys and Dolls.
Yeah,
I'll be in attendance. Cool. Happy Valentine's Day. That's what I'm doing for Valentine's.
Yes, happy Valentine's Day.
Yay. All right, so before we get to what is coming up at the Kentwood Players virtual theater series, we do have some sad news. So I am going to go to, I'm sure most of you got the announcements on email to you, but our dear friend Tom Brophy has passed. And I wanted to, this is what was sent out. He was an active member of the board, and he has been a member of Kentwood Players for 50 years. 50, not 15. 50. That's huge. He was responsible for lighting design for 64 different productions, from Night Watch in 1974 through Scream Queens, the musical, in 2012. He performed in 10 shows, starting as a townsperson in Our Town in 1972, up to, I'm not sure how to pronounce this name, Ichius, in A Midsummer Night's Dream in 2004. He did booth crew for 8 shows. He produced, he was a stage manager, assistant stage manager, graphic design, and he worked on the board as the chair of Bulletin and 12 plus years doing programs and postcards. And he also is our webmaster extraordinaire and, as everyone knows, our parliamentarian. He was a great friend and quiet leader, and he will be greatly missed. So anyone who wants to send Barbara, his wife, Barbara Brophy, anyone who's wanting to send love and reach out to her, please no phone calls. Please no flowers or food at this time. She's all set for her needs, but she would appreciate cards and notes. Those will be treasured. So that is what has been asked. And we do miss Tom. He
had a really big impact in this community. Yeah, so
he really did. And I love that mention about a quiet leader. He was quiet, but he was impactful for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah. And personally, I have to say, I always loved when I would see Tom and I would go to say hi, and his whole face and energy would light up, and that just made me light up and smile, and it just was such a great feeling. So, oh, we miss you, Tom. So we know Tom loved the theater, and he loved Kentwood, and he supported the theater, and so he would be in complete support, and I know he would be in complete support of our virtual theater shows, because he often would text me and say, I can't find the link to the show. I would have to give it to him. So I know he's a big fan of it. So in his honor, let's move the show on, and tell us what's coming up for our virtual theater works.
Yeah, well, right now we have 3 Syllables of Shame currently available on our YouTube channel. That was written by Rom Watson and is directed by Catherine Rom. It is starring Lindsay and Jeremy Palmer, and it's going to be available only for a couple more weeks until February 21st. So make sure, if you haven't watched it, make sure to watch it once this KP Live is over, because it's a really, really touching and funny and really, really cute show. Coming up next, we have Surf's Up by Kim Levine and directed by Allison Bull. It is will be starring Chris Morrison and Glory Bambabile Chishimanga, and that's going to be opening on February 21st and will be leaving on March 21st. And then following that is going to be State of Independence by Paul Coster and directed by Susan Weisbarth. And that... Well, I just lost the cast list, but the cast list was announced. I lost it and completely went away from me. That will be opening on March 21st and will be closing on April 25th. And of course, those are all going to be available on our YouTube channel. So make sure to stay tuned. And
you can find out that fun little cast list on Facebook, but if not, we will definitely have it for you next week. There's time.
I had it open,
it's
and
in 2 months.
Just completely went away.
It's okay. It's in 2 months. People need to watch 3 Syllables of Shame right now. Really, it's such a cute show. Make sure you
watch 3 Syllables of Shame. It's a great show. Great cast.
It's a cute show. Director. And also, let me just say, we have it. Sam doesn't even know about this. We have a special Valentine's Day surprise, and that is for Valentine's Day only. We're having a double header with 3 Syllables of Shame, and we are bringing back Zoom Date for Valentine's Day.
I didn't know this.
Yes.
So if you missed, really a surprise to me.
I know. So if you miss Zoom Date, or you just love that show, which I do, then you can hop on and watch it on Valentine's Day.
I thought that was such an adorable show, and so Gail and Dave did such a great job.
Yes, they're so cute. Of course. Yes. So you can see about dating in this weird world of Zoom, and you can also see a little touching show about a couple and the new changes in their life.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that being said, do we have any more announcements?
We have no more announcements. We just have an awesome guest.
Awesome. Who is it? I've never met this person.
You're a liar, and you have to do the introduction. Yes, and I can't even go with yes and because I don't have the intro you do.
I have the intro? Yes. Oh, I'm introducing the guest. Okay, well, the guest is going to be one of my professors at LMU. She taught me everything I know about improv last semester, so she's really great. And she also is an acting coach. She also teaches sitcom acting at LMU, and also just recently wrote a book, Auditioning, What They Say When You Leave the Room. So I would like to welcome on Mary McCusker.
Yay! Hi, Mary.
Hi. Well, that was incredible watching you guys improvise your way into this show.
Thank you.
Oh, we try.
Yeah, that's honestly all we do at this point is just try.
I am putting a link in for the book, which we're going to get to later in the show. And I'm going to put that for those watching. Don't be afraid to comment or question, because I'll put the link in again, even though it'll stream up. I'm really excited about this book, and I actually am going to buy it.
Awesome.
Yes. Just
Yeah.
even just thinking about the title and what they say when you leave the room. I love that. So I'm excited to get to know you a little bit and learn about your history and how you got into this. Will you give us a Reader's Digest version of you, where you're from, and
My coming through the birth canal. Do you want to start that early? I mean, how far back do we want to go?
yeah, we can start a little bit after that. Maybe we'll start with the location of that.
So I am from Boston, Mass. I went to the
Okay.
Boston Conservatory of Music. I moved to New York after going there. I went to the Neighborhood Playhouse, studied with Sandy Meisner, very famous acting
Wow.
teacher in New York. He was actually my teacher. I met my then husband and we flew to San Francisco. I joined an improv comedy group, and that was my first professional job. We took the show down to Los Angeles, opened it at what is now the Improv. And that's how I started my career as an improv actress, my first paying job. And I did that for about 3 or 4 years. And then my agent said, you should do comedy and drama. Don't get stuck just in the improv world. And when we closed the show, then I got into doing TV and film and stuff, and acted for a number of years. And then switched careers on a movie called The Client that was directed by Joel Schumacher, and it was with Susan Sarandon and Tommy Lee Jones. And I coached the boy who was the lead in it, who had never acted before.
Oh,
His name
wow.
Renfro. And he did 4 films after that. He became a star. And I sort of coached all his films, and then got into the world of being an on-set acting coach. I did that for 10 years. And then I switched to TV with Malcolm in the Middle. I was the coach on that set. And then I just got into TV and went back and forth between TV and film to this day, since I'm still doing a small job on the Connors in COVID land.
That's awesome.
So
Wow.
in interim, then I was hired at LMU, and I started teaching improv at LMU because it is my favorite form ever. I just love improv. I'll be in the old age home and I'll be, Arlie, you're a cat and you're, we'll do it.
I love it.
It's my joy. It's my energy. And I love turning people onto it. And so Sam came into my class. He was hilarious.
Thank you. Now, was improv something that you knew you loved to do in college, or did that come a little bit later? So when did you fall in love with improv?
When I moved to San Francisco with my husband, there was not much film going on up there. There was some, but not very much. And I wanted to act. So I was going on any kind of audition I could. And that was one audition that I went on. That's how I learned it.
Wow.
I do.
And so what is it you talk about some of this with such passion and love? What is it that you love about it that ignites that?
It's exactly what you were doing before I came on. It's exactly what we're doing now. We're just a little bit nervous. We're a little bit backed up a little, but in a good way. And we're making it up as we go along, and we're listening, and we're staying present, and we're having fun. So if you put a structure around that, if you set up games around that, if you create characters around that, there's no end to where you can go. And where you think you might not be funny, you become very funny if you play the reality of the scene. So people like Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, who created Upright Citizens Brigade, they always say, don't try and be funny, just play the reality of the moment and see what happens if you trust it.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
that's what I love about it. I think it's a life skill as much as don't you think, Sam, for instance, having taken improv, that you feel a little freer with being just yourself and not worrying about how you look or how you come off?
Well, yeah, I mean, I remember us having a private meeting, just the two of us during the class, where I was saying that I think it was at the beginning of the semester when I said that I had no experience in it, but I was really excited about it, and that something that I think was interesting to me was that I don't remember. I think you said this, but it's like we improvise all the time. We are never going off of the script, even right now, even when we are just having a normal conversation every day. We're improvising all the time. And so that was something that I think helped loosen me up and calm my nerves. And then I also felt that in that class, you really allowed us to just try whatever we felt we wanted to try, and try weird things and bad things and different things, and then sometimes it'll stick. And so that's kind of how you figure out what sticks for you. I mean, you can't really, I feel you can't figure out what's wrong, bad, I don't know, you can't figure out what doesn't work, I mean what works, if you don't figure out what doesn't work, you know what I mean? So I felt like you created a really great atmosphere for us to just really experiment and try things and not be scared to fail. So that was something that I got from that.
That's great. That's great. You know, I coached 2 actors today, and we had the script, and so we went through the script, and it just wasn't coming alive. So then I said, let's just improvise the moments in it. Let's if you think of some of the script, say it, and then go in and out of the script and improvising. Just as an exercise for finding what's really going on in the scene. And that was a valuable exercise. Meisner had what was called the repetition exercise for people who studied with Meisner. And you're smiling, Samantha. Did you do a little Meisner?
Yes.
So you have a pink scarf on, I have a pink scarf on, you have a pink scarf on, and you keep repeating it until some kind of emotion or change comes through, and then you start to pick up that. Right. And so that's about reading people. So that's part of how the book came in, because auditioning, what they say when you leave the room, we're always trying to figure out, pick up behavior, pick up moments from other people as we're talking to them. And so that kind of acute listening skill is really what keeps us present as actors, you know?
Absolutely.
And once you tune into somebody and you're not on, you're just connecting. Remember that class we did one time, Sam, where I just said, let's all just stare, pick one person to stare at.
Yes, I loved doing that. I thought it was really fun. And so what you're saying about listening and the very limited experience that I've had in improv is like, you can't do it if you're not listening, because you have no clue what's going to happen, what other people are going to say or what they're going to do. So if you're not listening, it's not going to work. And so that is something that I've taken in my like scripted acting stuff and musicals and all that kind of thing. So it goes back to what you said about how the things that you learned through improv are applicable in anything else, and also applicable in what we're doing right now, because I have to listen to you in order to ask you questions and to follow up and stuff.
So what Meisner would have you do is memorize the lines really, really flat, 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 get the lines out of the way so that you could go moment to moment and pick up behaviors, how people said lines, how they said it, what did you get from that? So then you wouldn't plan your performance because you were going moment to moment, working off the other person. So when I said that I, sort of jumped from Meisner into the improv world, I had really been trained to listen. It doesn't mean I listen all the time in life. God knows that's.
Well, I think that is the fundamental element in all aspects of this, whether we're doing, like Sam, like you said, whether we're doing improv, straight plays, musical theater, whatever, that's the basis of everything is starting with that block.
Yeah. What you want to do is be you. You want to bring your personality, you. I mean, of course, if you're playing a character, then you must honor the playwright's vision of the character and what the character demands are. But you're still bringing you, right. And improv teaches you to come from your real voice,
right?
Come from you, not you anything except you present,
right? And that is a valuable and scary experience sometimes, right? So speaking of this, what was it? Yes, it is.
Yeah. You're alive.
Exactly. It's a great feeling. Once you go through the first time and you realize you're going to come out of it okay, then then it's fine. Then being that little nervousness or that scared is exciting.
Yeah.
And that's like a muscle you keep growing.
Right.
And actors so much rejection from auditions and from the whole industry that it really helps to just exercise your love of the craft, the joy of why you do it, and not this one, the next one, and
right.
on and on.
So I think a lot of times we hear improv, and I'm speaking for the layperson, let's say we hear improv and we think immediately SNL, right? Because that's what everybody's been exposed to for the longest amount of time. And we think sketch comedy, or we think, something to that effect. But I feel like that's just one aspect of improv. You touched a little bit on it today when you were talking about the scene work. So what are other aspects and uses that that we can find in improv rather than just like trying to do, Saturday Night Live? Oh, am I gone?
Well, as I said, I think
we can hear you. We can hear you.
I just got to pop up.
But it's a cute face right now. You'll be happy with that.
Okay.
I would say you can use it in your scene work. If you're working on a scene, I mentioned it earlier. If you're working on a scene, then you can improvise the scene to find out what's missing, what isn't missing. What are the moments? If you can't get angry in the scene when it's called for, then you can improvise around it and find out why. What is missing? What's the component that's missing? That's one way you can use it for your acting. How else can you use improv? I think it's what we're doing now, just making it okay to fail, making it okay to not have an answer, making it okay to just be present.
So when whenever you are doing, okay, we're having this scene that's scripted, how about we do it improvised? I've seen directors do that, and I've seen actors immediately get like, oh gosh, I can't improv, I've never done that before. So what would your advice or tips be towards people who've never done improv before to be able to not get over that initial nervousness, but be able to use it or be excited about it or be able to break the ice for people who've never done it before?
Well, if you break it down in the scene, so the director asks you to do that, you remember what your character wants in that scene.
Mm-hmm.
So I was screen tested for a movie many years ago with Robert De Niro, and Martin Scorsese was directing, called King of Comedy. And I went to the Chateau Marmont for my screen test and met De Niro and Scorsese, and they said, let's throw the script out and let's just improvise it.
Oh, wow.
He got his camera out and videotaped us. So here I am with De Niro just improvising. But I knew what my character wanted, and I was very, very strong and clear about what I wanted from him. And that's all I did. I went for what I wanted. I didn't worry about being funny. And it wasn't about being funny. It was about being demanding in this particular scene. And I had decided for myself that our relationship was that we were like brother and sister, even though we were both competitive with each other. Mm-hmm. But I interpreted it as a brother and sister competition. And so I had no problem. So it has to do with being clear about what your character wants in a given scene and going for it.
Yeah.
Sorry. On you. The focus isn't on, oh, I can't do this. So this is what I say when I coach actors. What you focus and concentrate is where you go. If you walk in the room, in the auditioning room, if you walk in with, oh, she's on the phone. Oh, they're not looking at me. Oh, they don't like me. Oh, the woman that was out there, she's better for the role than I am. That's where your focus went. But if your focus, and Stephen Tobolowsky is one of the chapters in this book, says that your responsibility when you go into an audition is to care for this little character you brought in. So the only obligation you have is to honor this character. So if honoring the characters, understanding what they want in the scene, and then focusing on executing that, and making eye contact and staying glued to the casting person that you're reading to, or if there's a couple of other people in the scenes, knowing what your eye line is, but staying really focused on what you want from the other person. So right now, my want is to make this clear to both of you, because I feel a certain passion about it. Because I know it's a way out. Then how's Mary doing in this meeting for people like me? Really neurotic right now.
Right, exactly.
So if I put it all on me,
Exactly.
how I look and all that, I'm not going to go anywhere. And it's really hard not to sometimes. So yeah, I'm playing with my hair now.
Because you changed your focus, right?
Oh shit, look at this. I made it worse.
And it's so hard on Zoom because you're